I've been pretty fortunate when it comes to turkey hunting. I got involved with it, I don't even know, probably 10, 12 years ago. I guess kind of dumb luck. I always loved a deer hunt, had the opportunity to turkey hunt, and I was hooked from there. I've been extremely fortunate in regards to what I've been able to do. I've been all over the U.S. and Mexico. I've killed a royal slam with a shotgun, which is all 5 subspecies in the U.S. and obviously Mexico, which was an amazing thing to do. Again, just right place, right time in order to be able to do those things. The older I've gotten, the more that I've set my goals towards archery. Now my goal is to do a grand slam in the U.S. here, kill all 4 subspecies. I've been fortunate enough already to take my Osceola, obviously my eastern here in the U.S. I kind of wanted to step it up and say that I've killed birds in Canada, so.
Just crossed the border, I am in Ontario. This is called Thousand Islands. Houses out on the islands, or lakes, whatever you want to call it. Pretty cool little place.
So decided to head up and go out that first morning before the season and do a little scouting, a little videotaping. Jay had spent probably, I don't know, the first 3 months of the year, of the new year, with trail camera out, checking, watching these turkeys, seeing what they were doing. So Jay and I talked a bunch prior to me coming up as to how we were going to go about doing this. We knew where the birds were, we knew what they were doing. The question was, how are we going to get in close enough to them without them seeing us? It was a pretty wide open field. So what we did was we went out that morning before the season, got a blind set up, actually took Easton, his son, out with us, wanted to take him out and get him involved this year in setting everything up so we could in turn hopefully transition to this next coming up season and get him actually out in the blind to hunt with us. Fortunately, everything worked out. The birds did what we wanted them to do. They walked by the blind. We watched them do what they were going to do and knew that opening morning was going to be pretty crazy. So we got in there opening morning, and sun started to come up, sun started to rise, whatever you want to say. And Jay looked at me and was a little worried because we didn't hear birds gobbling. I knew for a fact they were there. There was nowhere else that they would be. Sure enough, once they started to wake up, I mean, it was a full-on gobble fest. Plan was I was going to shoot first, Jay was going to videotape, then we'd switch off. Vice versa, I'd videotape him shooting. A double was the goal. It's something I've never done, especially with a bow. We had decoys out. I usually set my decoys, my Avian X's, which I just got this year. I set them out at 5 yards off the blind, a jake and a hen. And they work exactly like they should. They all came off the roost, they all grouped up, and started making their way towards us. Before you know it, I had, as you can see in the video, probably 12 jakes, maybe more, and on top of it. bird that I wanted to shoot came in, was there at 5 yards for a good 2-3 minutes. Jay was waiting for me to shoot, and I just couldn't. I wasn't going to take a quick shot. I knew what was happening. I knew what the birds were doing. And I opted to let him walk. He wasn't too happy about it, but we ended up having, I don't even know, probably somewhere close to 20 birds between longbeards and jakes come in and give us the opportunity. So they worked their way off, and then we went ahead and set up for them to hopefully come back in. I knew that once I got them off the field, I could get them to come back if I gave enough attention to it, which did eventually work out. So somewhere around, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes went by, and we were sitting there and caught a glimpse of 2 longbeards, what I thought was 2 longbeards, coming over top of the ridge again. Started doing some calling, ended up being probably somewhere around 4 or 5 jakes, and there were actually 2 longbeards in, and they worked right to us. They worked the ridge, strutting, trying to pull obviously the decoys to them, which didn't work. I called harder at them, and here they come. Ended up getting them all the way down right into the decoys. As they were coming down, I made the decision that that wasn't the bird, or those 2 birds weren't the birds that I wanted to shoot, which is crazy. Both are mature birds, but once I'd seen this one really thick longbeard, I knew he was the one I wanted. So Jay was running the camera. I told him, you know, grab your bow. He said he wasn't going to pass it, especially, you know, this close of an opportunity. So.
Far right? Yeah. He's on the left side of the decoy now. Okay. Right there.
Jay ended up getting a shot off, put a great shot on the bird. We recovered it 5 yards from the blind, threw him back in the blind, reset again. So after a bunch of high fives and laughing and not believing what just happened, and as fast as it happened, we got reset, got the cameras all set back up again. Jay got back on the camera. Obviously he had his tag filled for the day. I started calling, and sure enough, here comes 3 longbeards over top of the ridge.
2 hours, Canada. I don't know if you see that or not, but that's called the stiff-legged shuffle.
I picked that wing butt and pinned him, man, and that is hands down my favorite shot to take. A strutting bird at that kind of distance, if you can pick the spot and make it, it'll dump them every time. And as you can see, it was feet up, lights out, which is just as cool as it gets when you turkey hunt with a bow.
Tickle pink, man. That was about an 8-yard shot with no recovery. He is stone dead there. We keep talking about penetration, and I'm shooting about 67 pounds with a 400 grain arrow, and that is not a pass-through, which is incredible. Awesome. Full strut, beautiful iridescence. Bunch of tags in Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Black. My bird was obviously a little tougher, but you definitely had a more tougher bird. Here, go film it with us.
Baronet blinds.
Baronet blinds.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. He's got feathers everywhere, I'm not sure why. Nice. See that? That's a good old bird, man. He's freaking rounded off. Paintbrush for a beard.
Oh, look at that thing.
There we go.
All right, so here it is, opening day, Canada 2013 turkey season. My good buddy Jay invited me up to do a bow hunt with him. Been watching the birds all year, and we came out last night, did a little watching yesterday morning as well. Those hens were right on top of us. They were here at the decoys, beating up the new Avian X's, and he came right down to 6 yards, and you see, I pinwheeled him, dumped him where he was. So both great birds, both mature birds. Jay's bird actually looks a lot like an Osceola. It's got the black bands in its wings, so I don't know. This is my first experience with Canadian turkeys. They're angry little. As you'll see, they beat the crap out of both of these Avian X's, and they stood the test real well. So thanks, Jay. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming. Awesome times, man. Yeah.
Once he and I committed to getting a turkey hunt in, he put the time, the effort in. We've got a ton of pictures. We've got a ton of trail camera videos of these birds, just watching them and scouting them, and it's just a true testament of birds that aren't pressured, birds that are hunted correctly, birds that are watched and maintained right. Will be easy birds to hunt. You know, you can look at the video and you can think that, you know, that's a slam dunk, that's easy, but the reason it's that is because of the effort and the time that he put in. I literally show up to camp, show up to his house, which is an amazing camp, and he's got things ready. It's right, and that's how it's supposed to be. And as far as hunting with friends and enjoying yourself, I mean, those are memories that'll last for a lifetime. Easton got involved with it, you know, this year with us.
Let's show these header, Daddy.
A small project for Jay and I. I mean, we want to see him do what we're doing right now, and it's going to go from trips of me going up there to hunt with him to trips of me going up there to, you know, to videotape Easton killing turkeys and Easton killing, you know, big deer. And that's what it's about. It's about getting your kids out there, and it's about letting them have that experience that you've experienced and passing it down to keep this whole thing going, because without them, it stops.
Headed to the stand with my little man, and he didn't make a sound. Sat there till 9:15 and old drop time didn't show. Saw a couple of squirrels, a fat raccoon, a possum and a doe. And out of the blue came a cowboy spike, and my little boy started to shake. Buddy man, but I planted my plot. Deer trail running through like a highway. I got my heart set on that dry time, but there's plenty of room in the back of my truck. It's been a long year, but it's gonna be worth the wait. It's opening day.
You're on video singing.
It's gonna be